Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Excellency, the Foreign Minister, discusses with his Iranian counterpart the painful developments taking place in the Gaza Strip and the efforts made to stop the escalation. Israeli aggressive attacks on Gaza Strip and more than 200 Palestinians martyred. And the International Conference on Ophthalmology affirms on investing modern technologies towards research, development, and enhancing patient care in the field of ophthalmology. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, and His Excellency Dr. Hussein Amir Abdul Hayyan, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran, discussed in a phone call the painful developments taking place in the Gaza Strip, the efforts made to stop the escalation, and the brutal Israeli aggressive attacks. The two sides affirmed their firm position in solidarity with the brotherly Palestinian people to achieve all their legitimate rights and achieve just and comprehensive peace. The Israeli occupation forces intensified their raids on various areas in the Gaza Strip on the second day since the end of the truce. The Palestinian Ministry of Health said that the number of deaths has risen to more than 200 since the end of the truce, and the occupation forces resumed their raids on the Gaza Strip, adding that most of the dead were women and children. Today, the eastern areas of Khan Yunis in the south of the Gaza Strip were subjected to violent bombardments, leaving a number of deaths and wounded, while an airstrike targeted the vicinity of Yarmouk market in the center of Gaza City. For its part, the Palestinian resistance said that it is engaged in fierce clashes with the Israeli occupation forces, penetrating the Sheikh Radwan neighborhood and the Taqadim axis in the northwest and south of the Gaza Strip. The World Health Organization called for the resumption of humanitarian aid to Gaza. The Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom, said that civilians in the Gaza Strip are in urgent need of protection, food, and medicine, reiterating the warning that overcrowding resulting from the mass population displacement and unsafe living conditions in Gaza increase the risk of disease. Emphasizing at the same time that the health system in Gaza is suffering from paralysis due to the continuation of the war, and it is no longer possible to bear the loss of more hospitals. North Korea says interference in its satellites would be declaration of war. North Korea said it would regard any interference in operations related to its satellites as a declaration of war and would mobilize its military deterrence force if any attacks on its strategic assessments became imminent. A spokesman for the North Korean Ministry of Defense said that Pyongyang will respond to any American interference in space by removing American spy satellites from service, adding that an American official's hint at the possibility of disrupting the North Korean military satellite that was launched last week constitutes a violation of sovereignty and international laws. The Sultanate of Oman's pavilion was inaugurated on the sidelines of the COP28 Climate Change Summit, which is currently held in Dubai. During the opening ceremony, His Excellency Engineer Salim bin Nasser Al Aufi, Minister of Energy and Minerals, highlighted in his speech the country's 2050 net zero plan and its energy transition strategy. The Omani pavilion included demonstrations on the Madinat Sultan Haytham sustainable energy projects in the country, the multi-hazard early warning system, and investments in the environmental sector. The Omani Pavilion came to showcase the Omani experience through its various environmental and clean energy initiatives in minimizing the impact of global warming and exchange views on the current and future environmental practices across industries. Still to come in our news bulletin. Sinau Public Cultural Center held a symposium under the theme Economic Development in the Wilaya of Sinau. The United Arab Emirates celebrates its 52nd National Day amidst notable developments in various fields. The Sultanate of Oman shares its National Day with the United Arab Emirates, stressing the continuation of a joint cooperation and consolidating the principles of brotherhood and good neighborhood lines. The Sultanate of Oman, in this special occasion, affirmed on the strong bilateral relations with the United Arab Emirates and means of enhancing these relations in various spheres. The two countries recently signed 16 agreements and memorandums of understanding on various sectors. The main project is the establishing of Ittihad Rail and Oman Rail joint venture. The railway will link the Wilaya of Sahar to Abu Dhabi. This project will contribute to boosting economy and strengthening commercial exchange between the Sultanate and United Arab Emirates. United Arab Emirates is considered one of the major commercial partners to the Sultanate of Oman in terms of import and export. UAE investment in the Sultanate of Oman amounts to 1.2 billion Omani riyals, while the Sultanate investment in the United Arab Emirates exceeded 1.1 billion Omani riyals. It is worth mentioning that the commercial exchange of non-oil activities between the two countries amounted to 4 billion Omani riyals. The Municipal Council of Dakhiliya reviewed during its 9th meeting a number of proposals and service projects to improve the conditions of commerce in the governorate of Dakhiliya. At the beginning of the meeting, the Council reviewed recommendations of the last meeting, including commercializing parts of public halls, activating the role of preventative medicine field teams at the Wilaya level, and the recommendations of the Legal Committee in the Council regarding a number of issues. Proposals concerning the wilayas of Nizwa and Bidbid were discussed, including proposals for establishing a central souk in Fenja and resolving the issue of parking areas in Farq town in the wilaya of Nizwa. The meeting was led by His Excellency Sheikh Hilal bin Saeed Al Hajri, Governor of Dakhiliya and the Municipal Council Chairman. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources announced 25 investment opportunities to establish, manage and operate fish markets and landing centers across the country. The ministry explained that the 9 million Omani Riyal investment project seeks to upscale the quality fish products, provide essential services, establish an open fish sale system, and create additional jobs for Omanis, in addition to facilitate the oversight on fishing season and attract investments from the private sector. The three-day Muscat International Ophthalmology Conference, which was organized by the Ophthalmology Center of the Armed Forces Hospital in cooperation with the Oman Ophthalmic Society and the Ministry of Health, concluded today. More details in the following report.
At the Oman Conventions and Exhibition Center, the three-day Muscat International Ophthalmology Conference, organized by the Ophthalmology Center of the Armed Forces Hospital in cooperation with the Oman Ophthalmic Society and the Ministry of Health, concluded its sessions this afternoon.
The last 4 days of the conference, they were very busy, very successful, and so many talks and discussion and skill transfers and upgrades of the informations. And great, and I thank everybody for the help, especially the government, different societies, different bodies, health body. We thank everybody for a successful, great Congress in Oman.
Several recommendations were announced, including the importance of early detection of some diseases, such as the keratoconus, starting from the schools, the post-operation care and follow-up of the corneal transplantation patients, the necessity of training and educating the opticians in the governorate on how to deal with some eye diseases like corneal after transplantation or the keratoconus.
I'm from Sudan. I live in the UK. I came specially for Miyako conference. It was actually a wonderful event to see other Middle Eastern African doctors collaborating and producing such a great work. It was very mindful and inspiring for me to initiate Young Ophthalmology Society in Sudan.
Furthermore, the necessary periodical checkup for the glaucoma patients, as well as the follow-up and education of diabetics to maintain the retina from the disease's complications.
I spoke about genetic testing in inherited retinal diseases. And this is a very important area because many patients with such conditions lose hope. They're already losing vision, they already lose hope. But with genetic testing, once we can find out what the gene mutation is, we can potentially offer them a treatment or put them into some clinical trials so as to improve their eyesight.
Participants of the conference represented by physicians, nurses, opticians and ophthalmology researchers from the Sultanate, GCC countries and other world countries attended the conference. The international conference aimed at familiarizing the participants on the latest developments of the ophthalmology, exchanging experiences with the regional and international participants, as well as identifying the new surgical techniques used in diagnosing and treating the eye diseases. During the last 4 days of the conference and workshops, experts have presented a wide spectrum of subjects in ophthalmology and explored advanced surgical techniques with the new approaches to the complex eye conditions, including scientific research that will help advancing care in the field of ophthalmology. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
With the participation of a number of experts and researchers in the economic field, Sinau Public Cultural Center held a symposium today under the theme Economic Development in the Wilaya of Sinau. More details in the following report.
The Wilaya of Sinau in North Sharqiya Governorate has gained a prominent position throughout history as a popular trading hub. To enhance potential investment and economic fields in this wilaya, the Sinau Public Cultural Center organized a symposium entitled Economic Development in the Wilaya of Sinau.
This kind of symposium highlights the importance of each and every region, and I think it complements the spatial strategy that was approved by His Majesty in 2020. This comes at a particular important moment where we would like to see the private sector plays an important role in terms of leading the economy, in terms of its contribution to GDP and in as far as the creation of jobs. So this kind of symposium really highlights the importance and the particular advantage of each and every region.
The first session featured 5 working papers on the old market of Sinau, experiences of merchants from Sinau, witness to the economic developments in Sinau from 1970 until now, the tourist guide for the Wilaya of Sinau, and Nizwa City as an example for community efforts in investments.
The economical side of every village and every city in Oman is quite important, especially that we are heading towards Oman 2040. And the main theme of that is to have a very strong economy, whether it's in the larger cities like Muscat and whether it's villages like wilayas like Sinau. In order to preserve the economy and in order to keep it the same strength that it used to have, we have to analyze the future and we have to understand what are the opportunities that we are looking for and what is the best potential that we can work on. So this kind of symposiums will make a big difference because we know within this we can plan for the future and make sure that what we are doing is suitable and it will help grow the economy.
My paper will be focusing in the opportunity in Sinau market, whether it is in the tourist side, whether in the education side, whether in manufacturing side, Yes, so now it has, the base to do that, and there are the manpower which is needed. So now it's getting the component to build this kind of businesses.
We'll concentrate on the opportunities and the possibilities at the concept of local administration. It also will concentrate on the potential challenge with these opportunities, and finally it will conclude on the recommendation that we will follow up in the North Sharqiya Governorate.
The 6 working papers of the second session focused on investment opportunities in the Wilaya of Sinau, prospects for economic development from entrepreneurs' point of view, opportunities and possibilities for investment in North Sharqiya Governorate, projects in North Sharqiya Governorate, and the philosophical foundations for the economy. The endeavor here is to propel the Wilaya of Sinau towards further economic growth and prosperity across various sectors. From the Wilaya of Sinau, Saleh Bukhalfan al-Rahbi, North Sharqiya Governorate.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Excellency the Foreign Minister discusses with his Iranian counterpart the painful developments taking place in the Gaza Strip and the efforts made to stop the escalation. Israeli aggressive attacks on Gaza Strip and more than 200 Palestinians martyred. And the International Conference on Ophthalmology affirms on investing modern technologies towards research, development, and enhancing patient care in the field of ophthalmology. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night, and we hope you've enjoyed your weekend.